It is very important that you guys know beforehand that we are not going to be talking during these videos, so make sure you have a printed copy in front of you of your PSI exam. If you don't have a current copy, come up to the school or contact one of us so that we can get one to you.
Also, guys, remember, no talking to your model or to anybody else inside the practical exam. Also, like we always tell you, when in doubt, sanitize your hands. Make sure you guys sanitize your hands before and after each service and after you touch something else. Also, make sure you're keeping your kit and everything sanitized.
Hope you guys enjoyed this part of the video. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Evan Moore. I'm an instructor here at Wade Gordon Barber Academy, and today we're going to be going over your state bag prep. So this is going to be your bag that you're going to use when you go to state board. Make sure that you guys are labeling pre-sanitized on your bag. I would just do more than once, so that way they can at least see where it's labeled, okay? I just use a label with tape on the handle and on the front. So whatever you guys decide to use, a duffel bag or a netting bag, you can use either one of those. So let's go ahead and open it up. So the way I have everything in here, I have it in here in order. So when you guys are making your bags, make sure you put them all in order. So that way when you get there, you don't have to like fumble through your bags and try to figure out which one's first and which one's last or which one's next. With this particular bag, I was able to fit in my mannequin stand and a mannequin head. If you're not able to, this one has these little clips. You can always keep it on the side or just hold it when you walk in. So we'll set this over here. So the very first bag that I have in here is going to be your pre-sanitized and pre-exam setup and disinfection. So when you guys are labeling your bags, make sure that every bag says pre-sanitized on the front. They want to see that. So we'll go over this bag real quick and what's in it. So you're going to have a water bottle. Make sure that it's labeled water or H2O, okay? You can choose to have it pre-filled before you get there. Just make sure that if this spills out and gets any of your paper towels or anything wet, that's going to render everything in here unsanitized, okay? So you can wait or make sure that you have a really good bottle in there so that way it doesn't leak. So your bottle labeled H2O, hand sanitizer. You'll have to have a blood spill kit and make sure it's labeled blood spill kit. Tape, a trash bag. Also, your paper towels need to be in a separate bag as well, labeled pre-sanitized implements. And the last, your EPA, make sure that's labeled hospital grade disinfectant, okay? So that's gonna be your first bag. Again, that's gonna be pre-sanitized exam, setup, and disinfection, okay? So make sure everything in there is labeled properly. Go ahead and put this back together. All this stuff in this bag is going to be left out in the entire course of your state board. Make sure this water bottle is closed so that we don't get anything leaking in there. Okay, so we'll set this bag aside. This is your first bag. Next, next is going to be your manicure, okay? So I know we kind of have this labeled with tape, but you guys are going to have to print out labels and tape on there, and it's going to say pre-sanitized manicure service, okay? So we're going to go over what's all inside this bag as well. So you're going to have 3 towels in here. You do not have to put those in a separate bag. Just make sure that everything that's in it that's liquid does not spill and get your towels all dirty. Another trash bag. And then this bag here is going to be your pre-sanitized implements. So this has your soap and water, your 3 orange wood sticks, your cotton. I went ahead and put 2 of those nail filers in there just in case you get real nervous and you drop one. You also have your top coat, and then you have your cuticle remover, all in here, okay? So it is up to you guys if you guys want to have those orange wood sticks prepped and wrapped in cotton already. If you're worried about time, then I would go ahead and do that. And then your little finger bowl. So again, this is going to be your pre-sanitized implements, the manicure service, okay? And we'll make sure to have printed labels for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this back in there. As far as paper towels go, I know there's some inside the first bag that we did, but I personally put some in every single bag that I did. So that way I always had some just in case, because you never know. I used the whole entire roll for my state board. So this is your manicure service bag, okay? That's second. So first it's going to be pre-exam setup and disinfection. Right after that is going to be manicure. Next is going to be professional shave service. So remember, like I said, everything needs to be labeled pre-sanitized before the actual name of the service. So this is a pretty big one. There's a lot of stuff in here. I think altogether you need 8 towels. So we have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have your 2 steam towels. So when you guys make this bag too, make sure that it says pre-sanitized and then steam towels. So this doesn't have to be a label printed out. You can write it on there, you can put a piece of tape or something. Just make sure that it is labeled. If you have a big enough bag, you can put both of them in there. Some people will have 2 individual small bags. It's kind of up to you. Next is going to be another pre-sanitized implement bag. Inside there, I'm going to have the little head cap, the shower cap that's going to be used for the headrest on the barber chair. Make sure you guys don't forget that. We're also going to have your sharps container. What I did is I bought an extra first aid kit, and I just emptied the contents out into that first bag, and I just used this first aid kit as my sharps container. And then you'll have your razor or your straight razor and then a blade. You can bring 2, because like I said, just in case you get real nervous or you just drop something, you have extra. So that'll be in another bag, and that can be written on just like this. You don't have to have a label for it. A cape or a drape. And then whether you choose to use shaving cream or shaving gel, it doesn't matter. So just whichever one you choose. And so that's going to be your pre-sanitized professional shave service, okay? I know that bag's pretty big with a lot of stuff in it. Just make sure you have all your towels. If you're not sure, you think you may need another one, always bring extra. Because if you drop one of these, once it hits that ground, it's going to be unsanitary, and if you don't have any extra, then you're pretty much out of a towel. So bring extra of anything if you need it, if you think you might need it. So right after the manicure is going to be professional shave, okay? Next, after that, now it's going to be your facial, okay? Go ahead and open this up. So inside there, you're going to need another steam towel. This is a little bag that I just put a label that says steam towel. Make sure you do that. And then again, pre-sanitized implements. It's going to have your cotton rounds, it's going to have your facial cream, and then your astringent, okay? So when you do this, these cotton rounds and these bottles do need to be in a separate bag, and they do need to be labeled pre-sanitized implements. So you'll have your cotton rounds in there. I brought 4, because you're going to need 2, but you can bring 4. And then your facial cream, if you decide to bring the actual bottle of it, you can, but you still need to label it facial cream. And then same thing for your astringent. A lot of people bought the bottle of witch hazel. If you do bring it, you do need to still label it astringent. So that's all that goes in there. And then you're going to need 2 additional towels. Just in case if you're doing that shave and you need another drape, you got 2 extra towels. So we'll put that away. Okay, so that's your facial service. Make sure when you do label it does say disinfected or pre-sanitized implements, and then facial service, okay? Now real quick before we go on to the next bag, one thing that I forgot is that a lot of people had questions about the blood spill kit that goes along with the shave. So in your shave bag, you are not gonna have a blood spill kit, okay? In your first bag that we did, the sanitized and disinfected implements, that has a blood spill bag in it. Okay, so you'll use that one just in case if you actually do cut somebody. So the blood spill is a separate section in this whole entire state board. Okay, it comes right after your shave, comes the blood spill, and right before your facial. Okay, so it's in between the shave and the facial is your blood spill kit. So all that goes in there, and that it's going to be a bag. It's going to have a printed label because it's actually going to be another section on your state board. All that's going to be in there is your gloves. I brought 2 pairs because just in case if you rip one, you have another one. 2 other Ziploc bags. It doesn't matter what size. Just make sure you have 2 other ones and label them blood spill kit. And then you're just going to have your set. Okay. So also inside there, you're going to have 2 empty Ziploc bags. It doesn't matter what size. Just make sure that they are labeled blood spill kit. You can't just write it on there, okay? Next, I just have another first aid kit labeled pre-sanitized implements. Inside there, you just have your Band-Aids, alcohol swabs. Make sure to put some Q-tips in there because you are going to have to use your septic powder. If you don't have one of those, get with us and we can get you one. But that's all that's going to be in your blood exposure kit, okay? Remember, that is a separate section. It comes right after the shave and right before the facial is going to be your blood exposure, okay? So that's all that's going to be in there. So again, just like this. Here's your shave. Right after you finish your shave, you're going to do blood exposure. After you finish blood exposure, you're going to go right into your facial. Okay? I always forget about that one. Right after your facial is going to be your hair shaping. So this says shampoo because back when I did my state board, it was a shampoo, so we'll have to change the label. But it is going to say pre-sanitized and disinfected implements for the hair shaping service. Okay? So just forget about that shampoo. So all that's going to be in here is going to be another bag labeled pre-sanitized implements. You'll have a towel. So for this towel, I mean, you don't have to use it for a drape, but I used it and laid it out and put my shears, my clippers, my trimmers on top of it. So in this, you do need to have your clippers, your thinning shears, and then your regular shears. You need to have 3 clips of your choice. It doesn't really matter which ones you pick. 3 clips. Some combs. Now for these, I have some of these, but I would use your Barber comb or the one you use for clip over comb. You can have these too, but I would still use that one. And then you're going to need neck strips. 2 neck strips. I brought 2 just in case you rip one or you drop one. Bring 2 of them. And that's all that's going to be in there. So that's why I had this towel. So pretty much when you're done, all you have to do is just wrap this towel up so you don't just throw your clippers and all that stuff into the trash. It's totally up to you how you can put your clippers and shears in a separate bag if you want to, but it's totally fine to do it like this. So like I said, this does say shampoo, but it is going to be your hair shaping, okay? So that's going to be right after your facial. Okay, right after your haircut, you're going to move on to your mannequin now. So that's all we had. Mannequin head, mannequin stand, and you're going to go into your pre-sanitized blow dry and thermal styling. So what's going to be in there is going to be your curling iron, your blow dryer, and then another bag labeled pre-sanitized implements. Inside that bag, you're going to have your vent brush, which looks just like this. If you guys didn't know what a vent brush is, this is what it is. And you're going to have neck strips, and you're also going to have end papers, okay? Because you need to test that heat of the curling iron. So make sure that end paper's in there. 3 clips, any clips of your choice. With my end papers. And then a comb. It needs to be a heat resistant comb, okay? Put all this back in there. Clips, end papers, your vent brush, a heat resistant comb. Make sure you have neck strips. I'm not going to try to fit that curling iron inside a separate bag, so it's okay if you just put both of those inside here. Just like this. And if you don't have a blow dryer or you don't have a curling iron, you can get with one of us. When it comes time for you to do state board, and we can get you one, and you can ask somebody if they're nice enough to let you borrow. So after your haircut, you'll be moving on to your mannequin. You'll be doing your blow dry and thermal service, okay? So just like that. And then after that, so after that's going to be your, remember, pre-sanitize on every label that you do, and it's going to be chemical preparation. So this has nothing to do with your chemical services. It's going to be prepping your mannequin head to be ready for a chemical service. So all you're going to have in there is another cape, some towels, 1, 2. I just went ahead and put some more paper towels in there. Make sure that if you do, it is labeled pre-sanitized implements. Gloves. You can bring 2 pairs. Again, I just put 1 in there, but you can bring 2. Your Vaseline. So another thing too that they changed was that even though it says Vaseline on there, you need to put a label that says barrier cream. Okay, make sure you do that. Q-tips, also label those too. Pretty much everything has to be labeled, so Q-tips. And that's all that's going to be in there. So when you get to that section and they say time for your chemical preparation, all you're going to do is set up your mannequin, put on the barrier cream, drape them, and that's it. You're not going to perform any of the services. So this is going to be your pre-sanitized chemical preparation. Okay, so next is going to be your pre-sanitized permanent wave service. This is going to be your perm. So your mannequin head already be set up and ready to go, sectioned off and everything. So this bag, again, labeled pre-sanitized implements. This is going to have the little cotton that you use to wrap around your section that you're going to perm. Has a little bottle labeled mock wave solution. So all that's going to be is just water. You can use one of these bottles. You can use an actual applicator bottle. 2 rat tail combs. Okay, 2. I wouldn't use the metal ones, just use the plastic ones. So you'll have some clips, with your hair will already be sectioned off, but you'll have some clips. You'll have your perm rods, and then some end papers. You only have to do 4 perm rods, but I would bring extra just in case, because we never know. So pretty much everything's going to be inside this bag. Make sure you label it pre-sanitized implement. And that's it for your perm, okay? Last but not least, it's going to be your pre-sanitized chemical application. So this is going to be your virgin retouch. So all you're going to have in here, a little container, it's just going to be labeled mock hair color retouch. Just going to be some gel. Also, I'm going to have another bag labeled my pre-sanitized implements. All that's going to be in there. You'll have 2 combs. And then 3 clips. 1, 2, 3. So that'll be in that bag. This one has another bag labeled pre-sanitized implements, and that's just going to be your color brush. There's 2 in there because you never know if you drop one, you're going to have to re-sanitize it. So that'll help save you some time if you just have extra. The gel container, doesn't matter what size it is. Just make sure that it doesn't leak on you. If you know it might spill, then like this one has tape over it just in case. That's totally fine. Okay, so that's pretty much it for all your bags. So I'm gonna go back over them in order, so that way you guys can see. So first one, pre-sanitized, pre-exam setup and disinfection. I'll put that in first. The next bag is going to be the pre-sanitized manicure. And then it's going to be the pre-sanitized professional shave service. And then remember, the blood exposure is a separate bag, okay? Right after that's going to be your facial. And then it says shampoo, but this is going to be your hair shaping service or your haircut. Right after your haircut is going to be your pre-sanitized blow dry and thermal service. Right after that, it's going to be your chemical preparation. And then it's going to be your perm. And the very last bag is going to be your pre-sanitized chemical application. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, my name is Amanda Hernandez here at the Wade Gordon Barber Academy. I will be presenting you today the pre-examination setup for your PSI practical exam. The time allowed is 10 minutes. Don't give me tape.
Should be in there.
Hey guys, today I'm going to show y'all the manicure for the Class A Barber Practical. So to start off with, this is your bag. You're going to set up your manicure station. So I'm going to use these towels. And so you are working out of your bag. So just remember, anytime you're not using your bag, to close your bag. And so you do have a white trash bag right here. And you're gonna set this up to put all your trash in after you're done using it on your manicure table. So everything you're done with goes into this trash bag. Okay, so then now you're going to sanitize your hands and sanitize your client's hand with hand sanitizer. Okay, so then we're going to file your client's nails, shaping them up. And when you are filing, make sure you're not sawing. You're just gonna wanna like do one like quick swipe with it. And you're only doing one hand, so you're only doing 5 fingers. Okay, so once you're done shaping your client's fingernails, then you're gonna break your file in half and throw it in your trash. So then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get this soap and water out of your bag. Remember to close your bags. You're gonna put it in your finger bowl. So remember, this is just soap and water. Okay, and then you're going to put your client's hand in there. So it only soaks for a little bit. Don't think you have to soak it for a really long time. So just soaking for a little bit. Okay, then you can take their hand out. I'm gonna move this out of my way. So I'm gonna use this part of the towel just to clean off the hand from all that water. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get your cuticle remover. And then I'm also gonna grab an orange wood stick. Oh wait, I forgot to wrap it in cotton first. So you're just twisting that cotton onto the end of that orange wood stick. Okay, so then you're going to apply the cuticle remover just around the cuticles. Okay, once you're done with this, you can just throw it in your bag. And then you're gonna push back those cuticles. Okay, so then now you're just gonna clean under the free edge, still using that cuticle pusher with a cotton swab wrapped around the end. Oh God, pause it. Okay, so once you're done pushing back all of his cuticles, you're gonna get your cuticle stick and break it in half, throw it in your trash. You're gonna grab another cuticle stick, some more cotton, wrap that cotton around that end. Okay, so then now you're gonna clean under the free edge. Okay, so once you're done, again, break this in half, throw it in the trash. And then now you're gonna finish the nail with your top coat. Okay, so the way I typically hold my nail polish is in my left hand, my less dominant hand, because you'll be painting with your dominant hand. Alrighty, then you'll throw your top coat in your trash bag. So with all this water that you still have in your finger bowl, what I typically do is get this towel and I'll just like soak up all that water. And then you can throw all of this in your trash bag. You would sanitize this, raise your hand, and you'd be done. Thanks, guys.
Our motto of the day is Evan Moore. He would not be taking no hair off his face, so today we'll be doing a mock shave. You just want to remember that, guys, you are not allowed to talk in any of this service or any of this practical.
Blood exposure incident. There is your label for that. Now this one you can use a gallon or even the smaller size, like this quart if I'm not mistaken, okay? In here you will need to include your set of gloves. Ooh, sorry. A paper towel or a gauze. A smaller bag that can be sealed and label it biohazard. Have an antiseptic, so I just use a little alcohol pad and I labeled it. And I just included 2 Band-Aids. So this is when you're gonna mimic that somebody has cut themselves. Now also on this side, do not put this one in there, but keep this off on the side. Label it first aid kit and have the same things in your first aid kit that you put in this blood exposure incident service, okay? Now, if you actually really do cut yourself or something happens, you're gonna have this on the side with your bag, so if you need it, it's there ready to be used. Be safe.
Hey guys, today I'm going to demonstrate to y'all the blood exposure incident from your state board. So to start off with, I'm going to take everything out of this bag. So I'm going to sanitize my hands. And then after that, you need to apply your gloves on. Okay, so you can either do this on yourself or you can use the finger that you used before on your tip application. So I'm just gonna use this hand right now. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply pressure to the stimulated cut. So I'm just using my thumb to apply pressure on it. Okay, so then I'm gonna use my first aid kit. Because now I have to clean the stimulated cut. So I'm gonna use an alcohol swab. Okay, so you're gonna keep this trash in your dominant hand. So I'm putting it in my right hand. And I'm gonna clean the stimulated cut. Okay. Still keeping that swab in my right hand. Okay, so then I'm gonna open up my first aid kit again. I'm gonna get a Band-Aid. Again, keeping all my trash in my dominant hand. And it is kind of hard with this Band-Aid not to get it stuck to your gloves. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the Band-Aid to the cut. Okay, keeping all of that trash inside of my hand. Okay, so in your kit, you do have these biohazard bags. So once you have the cut bandaged and everything, then you're going to take your glove in your dominant hand. You're going to flip all of that trash inside like this, okay? So then it's hanging on the fingertips. Then you're gonna grab your other glove, flip that inside. So all of it's pretty much in like a little ball. You're going to get your biohazard bag. Put it in your first biohazard bag. And then you're gonna put it in your second biohazard bag. Sanitize your hands again. And then you would raise your hand for your proctor to check. Thanks guys for watching. I didn't know what to...
Hello guys, this is Paul Kuhn at the Wade Gordon Barber Academy. Today we're going to do the facial part of the practical. You got 17 minutes to complete this service.
How's it going, guys? My name's Evan Moore with Wade Gordon Barber Academy, and today we're going to be going over the State Board Practical Haircut, and we got 37 minutes.
look at me, but when I tell you to turn, just turn, okay? I'm gonna say something to you. Okay? All right. When you go to talk to me, just turn your head and talk to me. What side? Once you turn your head, so you can see that side.
it says on the PSI you only have to cut to the roundness of the head. That's all that they check for.
The roundness of the head.
It's a 90-degree roundness to the head. Because I cut to the style too on my PSI. I mean on my practical. And I got points taken off for that. For not cutting to the roundness. Like I left it short to long. You know what I mean?
So just follow what you're already around there.
Yeah.
Just take that guideline and get to the top.
Hi guys, I'm Amanda Hernandez at the Wade Gordon Barber Academy. I will be performing the blow dry and thermal curling. Your time allowed for this procedure is 22 minutes.
We probably should have held the camera so she can show them to use their mirrors. But we just put in detail, she used the phone for a mirror. That's why she keep looking at the phone.
Yeah.
So.
Is it 4?
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing paper.
Hi guys, I'm Valerie Barber. I'm one of the instructors here at Wade Gordon Hairdressing Academy. And today I'm going to be going over the single process color retouch. And you get 10 minutes to complete this application. I am looking off of the PSI. This is going to be page 17 on your PSI. If you don't have your candidate bulletin, what you can do is you can pull up your paper one that maybe you've received in class, or you can just get out your phone, Google Barber, Texas PSI, and you'll have the whole candidate bulletin. Whenever you look at it, it's just gonna be a PDF, and the first page will look like this. And so that's gonna be the candidate bulletin. And then again, it's gonna be page 17. Just gonna scroll down there really quickly. And I also wrote the procedures here on the board. But if you can't see it very well because we are just filming from the school today, then go ahead and pull that up. So the segment, You'll have 10 minutes to complete this. Everything counts for 1 point. So for instance, we'll have 2 criteria. So the first criteria is going to be the procedure criteria, and the second one is going to be your safety precautions. So the first thing we're going to go over is just the safety precaution, or I'm sorry, the procedure criteria. So the first thing you're going to do is perform a strand test. That can be done on any part of the head. Basically what you're trying to do is, if this was a real client and you were really doing color or a high lift product like lightener or something like that, what you're trying to do is see what it's going to do to the hair. We're going to see like maybe what kind of buildup that client has in terms of how light they're going to get, how bright the color is going to look, things like that. So when you do a strand test on a client, you really want to use the back of the head area, someplace that's going to be easily hidden, so that the client, if they don't love the end result, we can always cover it up with another color or something like that, but it'll be hidden out of the way so they won't have to see it. Also, a patch test, that's just going to see if there's any allergic reaction with the products we use. We've had several clients that, you know, have different reactions to different, you know, professional brands that are out there. We've recently had a client that's allergic to bees, and so we can't use TG lightener on her because it has beeswax in it. So just things like that, it's good to kind of do like a preliminary patch test to make sure that you're not, you know, coming up with something midway through the application and you're gonna have to rinse it off and then their hair is just a mess and there's no way to fix it because they're allergic to the product. So it's good to figure that out with all new clients. The textbooks say 48 hours in advance, but you'll know if someone has allergic reaction within minutes. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna apply what part of the product that you're using, and you can apply it just behind the ear on your mannequin. That's where I'm gonna apply it. So with the gel we're using, you can just put a little bit behind the ear, and then that's sufficient enough. You're not gonna have to pause and wait for it to react because obviously it's not going to because it's a mannequin. So you're just gonna apply it and that's sufficient for this part of the program. So after you're gonna do that, then you're gonna apply the color product. You only have to do it to 4 subsections. And it doesn't matter what section you wanna work with. If you wanna work in the back, if you wanna work in the front, it doesn't matter. I'm actually gonna be working in this back section because I feel like it'll be smaller and a little bit easier to show those 4 sections. But again, it's totally up to you. You can do any other sections you'd like. I'm gonna be working with 1/4 inch subsections. If you're not sure what that looks like, 1/4 inch is gonna be about the thickness of a rat tail comb, like the spine of the comb. That's how thick 1/4 inch will be. So they can just all be pretty uniform and the same length. On your candidate bulletin, it doesn't specify how large PSI wants to see that, but that's what I would do. And you also wanna make sure you can clearly see through the 4 sections. So I'll kind of show you guys how whenever we apply that, we're gonna make sure that we bend it over our comb so that you can see those sections, okay? And then ensure that there's no chemical product left on the skin. So obviously that's not gonna include the patch test that we did earlier. It's gonna be like if you made a mess somewhere else, okay? The next thing is gonna be the safety criteria. We wanna make sure we're properly disposing of waste materials, ensure workstation and area remain sanitary, ensure draping is maintained throughout the service, replace contaminated items, kit remains sanitary. And really what that means with the kit remains sanitary is that you keep your kit closed. So it's really easy to want to like unzip your bag, like I have my bag unzipped right now, and then just leave it like this. But if you don't go back and actually physically zip it back up, that's a point that you miss. And honestly, that's kind of a nonsense point to miss because just make sure you're zipping everything back up. And then avoid cross-contamination, okay? You are gonna be using gloves for this, but let's say I touch my face. And in that case, what I would need to do is go ahead and remove my gloves, throw them away, sanitize my hands, and put a new pair of gloves on, okay? You don't wanna cross-contaminate in any way. And I'm definitely a face toucher, a hair toucher, so if I was taking this exam for state board, I would probably bring a few extra pairs of gloves just in case. That way it's an easy fix if you do something like that, okay? So that's kind of all the safety precautions that you have to do for this exam. Again, anytime you start a new exam or end an exam, what you're gonna be doing is each segment, you want to make sure you're sanitizing everything before you begin. So washing everything, your countertops with disinfectant, sanitizing your hands, and then starting the application. And then at the end of the exam, before you raise your hand to indicate to the proctor that you're ready to go, you need to make sure you sanitize everything again and then raise your hand, okay? So I'm gonna kind of mock this a little bit. I'm primarily just gonna be showing you the application and things like that, and then I'll say the steps that maybe I miss. So I have my bag. In my bag, again, I have a few pairs of gloves, my drape and all that stuff. You would have done this, they give you 10 minutes prior to do all this. So if I've already done that right now, my mannequin is draped. And again, for this application, it is gonna be towel, cape, towel. So you'll literally just put a towel over your mannequin, a cape, and then a towel, okay, for a chemical application. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with that patch test. That strand test. I'm going to just do it in this front quadrant because I'm not going to be using this one. So what you guys can do is just take a small section. I'm just going to be taking a section in between the radial, this section here, and I'm just going to apply it. And we're just going to apply the product as if we're just doing a little strand test, okay? So my brush and then my product. It's in a Tipperary container with a lid. So whenever I'm done with this, I can just put the lid back on and put it in my trash or laundry bag, whatever you guys have off to the side. So I'm just gonna apply this, and you can apply it roots to ends, and then that would be your strand test, okay? And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna apply a little bit of that product just right behind the mannequin's ear to see if there would be any kind of reaction to that, okay? And then that's all they're wanting to see. And then we'll begin the actual application. I'm gonna be taking 1/4 inch subsections, just right here in the back. I'm gonna actually move this so we can see it a little bit better. So there's my 1/4 inch subsection. Again, it's gonna be about the width of the spine of the comb. That's gonna be about 1/4 inch. And then I'm just gonna apply my product from the roots to the ends. And they are wanting to see really good saturation. So no dry spots. It's a little bit hard on a mannequin with using gel to make sure it's super saturated, but just it needs to look wet is really what you're looking for. Then what you can do is you can take your end part of your brush and just kind of bring it over so that you're adding like a little bit of a buffer between the next section. And then you're again taking the same size. And you have 10 minutes to do this, which honestly is like plenty of time to work with this because it's only the 4 subsections. So that's really good. But if you feel like you're running out of time for whatever reason, which you really shouldn't, because like I said, 10 minutes is a really long time just to do 4. You lose all your points if you don't finish segments in its time frame. So the best advice is if you're on any part of the PSI and you see that you're running out of time, go ahead and just finish it best you can. You would rather miss maybe 2 or 3 points versus the entire segment of 17 or 13 points. So that's the best bet. But this one's a pretty simple one. I don't see how anyone would be able to, you definitely should be able to finish in the time allowed. That's plenty of time to do that. So maybe if you have to use the restroom, this is the segment to use the restroom in. So I'm just applying that product all the way down, making sure it's well saturated. And then that last section I have right here. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go back through and kind of fold it over my comb. like that. So I can create a little bit of buffer in between so that you can clearly see how big my subsections were and how many I have, because it specifically says 4. So you want to make sure that the examiner can see all 4 of your subsections. So I'm just going back through and kind of folding it over so it's really visible to see the subsections that I've done. And that's really all you have to do with this segment, just the 4, and then that's it. So after you're completed, what you'll do is you'll go through, take your gloves off, put everything back in your trash, throw it away, disinfect everything, hand sanitize, and then raise your hand. And then the proctor will come by, check what you did, and then once everyone else has completed, or if you were lucky enough to be in a classroom by yourself like I was when I took my state board, then you can just move on to the next segment when you're told to do so. So that is the single process color retouch, and again, it was 10 minutes. So thanks for watching and good luck to you.